Welcome to The Point. In this episode, number 10, we're going to talk about the time deposit refinancing that's on the horizon. We know that interest rates today are lower than they were through the Great Recession. We're going to document that for you to make that abundantly clear. We're also going to note that the early withdrawal penalties based on a number of months of interest are generally quite ineffective. So the solution is to fortify those penalties and to prepare to move deposits from your competitors over to your balance sheet when rates rise. And we will always want you to contact me for any questions or assistance in this regard. When we look at interest rates, we can go out to the FDIC.gov site and see what the national rates were, the average of bank rates offered across the country. We can look back to 2009 and find that for the longer term accounts, a significant drop occurred until we get to about 2013. Then rates stabilized for a long period of time, and they started to rise until falling with the pandemic. Interest rates today, however, are much lower than they were even at the end of 2013. That presents a situation that is both a problem or risk and an opportunity for your organization. So what is the problem or risk? It is that early withdrawal penalties, if they're based on the number of months of interest, are likely to be very trivial in their impact. We produced a To The Point episode, number 3, on this topic. We would encourage you to look at that episode of To The Point, to look at fortifying your early withdrawal penalties. So the first solution to deal with this is to build up your early withdrawal penalties now. The second step, however, is the focus of our To The Point today. Get ready to refinance your competitor CD in the future. We're going to demonstrate how CD Revolution, which is a part of Core CD, can accomplish these goals for you. So when we go into Core CD, there is a section under Customized called CD Revolution. When we hover over it, it says to create a customized CD to refinance an existing CD. So let's click on that, and we go into the system, and we can put in here information about the situation. So let's say that today is 18 months after we opened this account, approximately. So let's build an account that was booked in September of 2019. If it was a 5-year account, it would mature in September of 2024. Now, let's assume that we've added up the principal and interest that's currently in this account, and that the interest rate was approximately equal to what many of our offerings look like today, 0.55%. So this is assuming that rates have risen, and so you'll see when we look at our customized rate, you'll see that it's not today's rate, but it would be the rate that you would see on the horizon in the future sometime. So looking at this situation where we have a 5-year account booked at 0.55%, we know that we can calculate clearly what the original value and what the maturing value would be. We then use the Core CD system to identify the penalty. And if it was a function of number of months of interest, we can key that in. Let's say it was a 6-month early withdrawal penalty. That would then account for $278. When we subtract that out of the current principal plus interest balance, we get the amount that could be reinvested at the time of refinancing. And if we took that and reinvested that net amount of $100,722 at a rate of 178, again, we're thinking 18 months in the future. We are setting up the scenario using the system as if rates were lower back in 19, now rates are higher. What would that look like? And the CD Revolution, or refinancing capacity, takes us from the current value, net of penalty, that it would take us out here, and today, in today's environment, they would pay that penalty. That's why you start off with a lower balance than what the green line is. If you stayed on the green line, you would end up with $102,943. But if the depositor is awakened by you to check out refinancing, they can take the net of the penalty, reinvest it at the new market rates that you're going to be at in the future and get a gain. How much is that gain? It can be quite substantial. In this case, they would collect $107,089 instead of $102,943, netting $4,146 more value, simply because rates went up over the next year and a half to a level that is prompting the refinancing. A very simple and yet very functional approach. So with this demonstration, I hope I've opened your eyes to being ready when rates rise. If you want to set up an appointment with me to cover this topic or others, please use my Calendly system to find a time on my calendar that works with your calendar. I want to thank you for joining me for this episode of To the Point.